Welcome Exile, Cassius Clay here, back yet again with another build guide video. This time it's a lightning arrow Pathfinder based around the Tempest longbow. With Inpulsa and GMP, the clear speed is fantastic, and for bosses we pull out Barrage for that high single target damage. This build is probably the most fun I've had all league, and the Inpulsa explosions just makes it that much more enjoyable. The items used for this build are the Tempest longbow. I use this weapon because of the increased lightning damage and the amazing attack speed. And for gloves I use Tome Fist that gives extra attack speed and life, and because I have a murderous eye jewel socketed in there, I get intimidation, which gives me 10% extra damage. For boots I use rare boots with resistance, life and movement speed. And the quiver I use is a drill neck that gives attack speed, evasion, life as well as 50% increased damage against pierced targets. The corruption you want on there is an additional arrow. For helm I use Draconia's head for the evasion, the attack speed, the crit chance and the life. The enchantment you want on there is an extra projectile for barrage. And for chest I use Inpulsa Broken Heart. This is one of the main items for this build. It increases your life, but it also increases your damage if you shocked an enemy recently and increases the effect of shock. Shocked enemies also explode up to 10% of the maximum life, which is amazing for your clear speed. The item also makes you unaffected by shock, which is why it works so well with Vessel of Vinctar, since Vessel of Vinctar shocks both you and enemies around you, but since you are now unaffected by shock, you no longer get the drawback of Vessel of Vinctar. For amulet I use a rare amulet for lightning damage, crit multi, life, lightning damage and a bit of res. And the rings that I use are 2 Opa rings. I bought 2 normal Opa rings on PoE.trade for cheap and then crafted it extra elemental damage, life and intelligence. And on this one I crafted strength, accuracy and elemental damage. For belt I use a Stygian Wise rare belt with strength, life, res and elemental damage. The flasks I use for this build are a Wise Oak, a Serious Promise, Diamond Flask for the crit chance, a Vessel of Vinctar for the 10% damage penetration, and right now I use a Quicksilver Flask on the last slot, but you can also use an Onslaught Flask, you can use plus 3000 Evasion Flask, or if you have a lot of currency you can even use a Dying Sun Flask. For other options you can go with 2 Tempest longbows and you can switch with X and use Barrage in one of them and Lightning Arrow in the other one. That's if you want to switch out Inpulsa for a Comb's Heart and get over 6600 life. It will affect your clear speed and your overall damage by quite a bit, but your survivability will go up. For gems I use Lightning Arrow as my map clearer, and with Lightning Arrow I use greater multiple projectiles, added lightning damage, elemental damage with attacks, and increased critical damage. And you only use a 5 link, and if you have a 6 link you can use a lightning penetration or slower projectiles. For bosses I use Barrage, and with Barrage I use slower projectiles, greater multiple projectiles, elemental damage with attacks, added lightning damage, and elemental focus. And in my helm I use Herald of Thunder, Curse on Hit, Temporal Chains, and Blink Arrow. Herald of Thunder is connected to Curse on Hit, and Curse on Hit is gonna apply Temporal Chains. And in my boots I used Cast from Damage Taken, level 1, Immortal Call, level 3, Ball Haste, and Increased Duration. And in my gloves I use Wrath, Decoy Totem, and Summon Ice Gold. These are the skills that I picked out so far for my level 86 lightning damage Pathfinder. I rushed to get these, which were actually claw nodes, but then I put a Lion's Fall jewel in here to turn the claw nodes into bow modifiers, so I get the bonus from all of these 4 here. Then I got the life, I got acrobatics, I got more life, crit multi, bow damage, elemental damage, And then I got Point Blank at around level 40. I got Vault Pact around level 60 or 70. And then finally I got the crit chance, the attack damage, the life, and the lightning damage. If you think I have too little life, then you can take this off and all these nodes. That's 12 nodes. And then you can put them over here, get the jewel socket, and then get in the middle over here. Then you will have over 6,000 life if you get all the ones in the middle here. For jewels, I use ones with lightning damage, life, and I have a crit chance on that one. On this one I have crit chance if you haven't dealt a crit recently, and lightning damage to bow attacks, and life. And for Ascendnacy I went with Nature's Boon for the fast shot and the reduced elemental damage taken, and then Master Alchemist for the increased elemental damage and the chance to shock. Then I went with Veteran Bower because of the damage penetration and the flash charge. And lastly I went with Nature's Adrenaline for the increased attack speed and movement speed. For Pantheon I will go with Soul of Lunaris as Major God. Soul of Lunaris gives you damage reduction against groups of enemies as well as an increased movement speed. But it also gives you a chance to avoid projectile and a chance to dodge attacks and spells. That's why it works so well with an evasion based build. For Minor God I would choose one that is most suitable for the map mod you're running or a certain boss. The only one I wouldn't use is Soul of Rislada, since I don't use a life flask for this build. For bandits I would help Alira or kill them all. For leveling I always recommend using a Tabula Rasa. And in the Tabula I started using Split Arrow from level 1 and use that until level 12 when I can switch out for Lightning Arrow. With Lightning Arrow I connected lesser projectiles and added lightning damage, and then at level 18 I added Elemental Focus. I used a Quill Rainbow from level 5 and I used that until level 32 when I could switch it out for the Tempest. I started using Barrage at level 12 in a 4-link and I used that for bosses. The main pros for this build is that it's a great combination of a fast map clearer that can also destroy high tier bosses with relative ease. The huge Inpulsa explosions are extremely satisfying and very enjoyable to play with. You're keeping enemies at a distance so you feel safe even with a relatively low life pool. The cons for this build is that you cannot run elemental reflect mods. Evasion can be very random at times, and if you want more life then the build can start to get more expensive. If using a comb saw, then you will need to switch between your weapon slots, which can be awkward at times and take some time to get used to.